Welcome everybody back to episode number 26 of the Off the Rails podcast with Tone and Jems. And you just heard Jems' lovely daughter do our intro, our new intro, which debuted last week in front of the Carter Holsey episode. If you are watching video, it's pretty snazzy. Jems, how you doing today, man?
Good, except for your stupid fucking Tigers just hit scored 3 runs in the top of the 7th to go ahead versus the White Sox.
My bad.
Sorry,
Nah.
you didn't do anything.
Sorry, not sorry. That's funny though. Speaking of baseball though, the White Sox are doing pretty good. Mr. Yermin Mercedes is killing it.
Yes, he's currently batting .425. His OPS is 1.126, so it's pretty good.
He's crushing it, man. That dude's like killing it, and I don't even think he's getting that much national media either, really, out of it, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I guess I'm like swarmed with Chicago media, so I see it, but so I don't know what it's like elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I follow baseball pretty hard, and I don't feel like he's gotten like the. But then again, it's baseball in general. Actually, it's a great place to start. Baseball in general. What can baseball in general do to be better?
Well,
Did you see the Trevor Bauer comments? That's what I
about him and Tatis.
Yeah, about how like he like is cool with like people celebrating, but like he's tired of like soft pitchers like throwing at people because they hit a home run. It's like,
yeah, he's not wrong.
No, he's not. The unwritten rules. I've said it for a while. The unwritten rules of baseball are killing baseball.
Yeah. I mean, some of them I think are necessary, like in certain scenarios, but like, like somebody pimps a home run, and it's like a worthy home run.
Yeah,
I gotta throw a better pitch next time.
Okay, this is perfect because this is exactly what somebody said. So, I guess I'll call him friend. He's a friend, but I also produces podcast. Darius Butler posted something about the comments or whatever being made, and then I kind of like someone was like, "You're wrong," because Darius is on our side. He thinks baseball should embrace like be a faster paced game, but also more celebration, which I agree with. Mm-hmm. This guy was like, "Wrong. You're whatever, blah blah blah," and I was like, "Dude, as like a pitcher, like if someone blasts a 500-foot home run off me, right? It's the same as if I strike them out on a 3-2 count." There's not a pitcher in the world that's not going to do some kind of like, fuck yeah, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, why is that okay? But like the hitting a home run and doing the same thing. It's like, guess what? You know what? If I pump my fist, like after I strike you out, whether I'm looking you in the eye or not, guess what? Like I'm still celebrating in front of you. That's the same thing.
Right.
It's
yeah,
like
I really think bat flips are good for baseball, celebrating. But like there is certain times where I don't know if they would deserve to be drilled, but like if a team is down like 8-0 and then some dude hits a solo home run and then pimps it, then he just kind of looks like an asshole.
To make it 9-0, you mean?
No, to make it 8-1.
Oh, okay. That's what I think. Either way, you're probably still fucked. But
yeah, I guess 9-0 also makes you look like an asshole too.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of like both the same way. But it's like what I mean? But like like what's a good scenario? Like if it's the bottom of the 5th. And it's a tight game. It's a 0-0 game, and I blast a 500-foot home run. I think that's worthy.
Yeah, I would agree.
If it's a tight game, it's like the stolen base rule, basically, is what it should be.
Kind of.
Like, don't steal a base when you're up by like 7. Like it's kind of stupid.
Well, they got mad at Tatis last year because he hit like a 3-0 grand slam or something.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like, I don't understand. Right? Okay. 3 balls, no strikes. You're going to groove a pitch. That's the perfect time to swing. You know what's coming.
Yeah.
Why would you be mad at him for hitting a fucking 3-0 grand slam? Throw a better pitch.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess if they were up by a shitload, so it was
I don't care.
Yeah,
it's a grand slam.
Yeah. No, it's really cool.
Like how many grand slams have there been in the history of baseball?
I don't know. Lou Gehrig's got like 23 or something, or 25.
Okay, so I mean, grand slams in baseball. By the way, this show's come out after, so I'm just going to pub it. If you're listening to this podcast, but you're not listening to the Swiss Army Man podcast, you should be also listening to the Swiss Army Man podcast because they're like 10 to 15 minutes long and they're informational. And this past week, I released one about no-hitters, and it was very interesting. By the way, there's only been like 307 no-hitters in baseball. Grand slams, baseball. That part has slipped my mind. I want to say it's like 20 something, but
yeah, I don't think it's
I don't know. Like whatever. Grand slam, baseball total. There's probably a zillion, but whatever. So the most grand slams ever was 25, but whatever. But
that Lou Gehrig or A-Rod?
A-Rod. But like Lou Gehrig's like
second then.
Yes, yeah. But the amount of people, only 3 people have hit 20 plus grand slams.
Is Robin Ventura the other one?
Nope.
He's got to be pretty close.
But
I want to think he's in the high teens, isn't he?
He is in the high teens.
18?
Correct, sir. You are correct.
How many people are between him and Lou Gehrig?
So Lou Gehrig has 23, and he's second on the list. Robin Ventura is tied for 5th on the list with 18. There is another guy with 18, and then there's a guy with 19 and a guy with 21.
Semi-recent people?
2 of them played in my lifetime. 1 of them definitely played in your lifetime, but 2 of them might have played in your lifetime, and then 1 of them was before both of our lifetimes.
So, 1 of them definitely played in my lifetime, you said?
1 of them definitely played in your lifetime.
It's not like the obvious of like Barry Bonds, is it?
No. Was a big star, though.
Mark McGwire?
Nope.
Griffey?
Nope. Griffey is, by the way, he was on the list. He's 15th on the, or he's 13th on the list with 15.
Does Eddie Murray have a shitload?
He is one of them. Ding, ding, ding. He's the one that I was like, he might have played in your lifetime, might have not played.
Didn't he retire like super late? Like he played forever.
That's why I was like, hey, I know he played a long ass time. He has 19. He's in 4th place. So you're missing the guy who's tied with Robin Ventura and the guy who is in 3rd place. The guy in 3rd place is the guy that played in your lifetime.
I feel like it's not David Ortiz, is it?
No, but played with David. He was a teammate of David Ortiz at one point.
Manny Ramirez?
Yes, correct. 21. And then the other guy was not Barry Bonds or not Barry Bonds Sr. or not Bob. Not Bob. It's Bobby Bonds. Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonds, or Willie Mays, but Willie McCovey. Another giant great. So, yeah, surprisingly, there's one on this list that I'm pretty sure played for the White Sox. My brain is not connecting it right now, but with 17 Grand Slams, Carlos Lee.
Carlos Lee started with the White Sox.
That's what
and he
say.
went to like the Brewers and then the Astros, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I was like, and then Harold Baines has 13 too. I'm just trying to pick out the guys that played for them.
Harold Baines had his number retired with the White Sox and then came back and played like 1,400 games. He had such a long career. He just got inducted into the Hall of Fame this year.
Dude, speaking of that, let's talk about. We were just talking about the fun of the games. But yeah, you hit a grand slam. Fuck it, I don't care. Like if you're hitting a grand slam, and by the way, I don't know if it was his first grand slam. Could have been his first grand slam. If it's first grand slam, you also have to know that too, right? Like if it's your first home run or 100th home run or 200th home run, like they should be able to celebrate because that's a personal accomplishment. Doesn't matter really the circumstance. So if it was his first home run,
it gets back to the scenarios where I'm okay hitting people, I suppose. If the game's a little feisty and shit's going on, and I guess it's a lot. It's come a long way from 20 years ago where you're like, man, people could really get hurt if I hit them with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
I mean, you still get hurt.
Sometimes I feel like people deserve it. I don't know.
I will say sometimes people are little bitches though.
Yeah.
Like at the plate. Like I watched them like it happened
like Wilson Contreras.
I feel like Wilson can. Well, he does get fiery, but I've seen him take some hits where he's chill about it. He's a little bit like sometimes he gets, but like
a little high strung this year.
like Ronald Arcina Jr. Acuna Jr. or whatever the fuck. Yeah, Acuna Jr. Yeah. I don't know why I just pronounced it like that. He got the Cubs pitcher threw it up and in today. I guess he got hit yesterday, but the Cubs
hit pretty good yesterday.
But the Cubs pitcher threw it up and in, and you could tell it was just a pitch that got away from him. It wasn't even
the bases were also loaded. I was watching it.
Yeah, and like I'm like, he like stared him down like he was like, I'm like, dude, you're in the. I don't think batters. This is going to come back to being a pitcher. I don't think batters realize the small window a pitcher has to put the ball into.
Right. No,
and the fact that these guys are getting paid millions of dollars to hit that ball a zillion feet. And if you make a millimeter of an inch fuck up, that thing's going forever.
Acuna also hit a 481-foot home run tonight.
Yeah, well, so good reason, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. So it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I get like frustrated with that hitting shit. You're like, come on, guys, stop being little bitches. Or like
Madonnas.
Also, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm like it. I'm sure it would get old getting hit, but like I'm like, well, fuck it. If I'm Fernando Tatis Jr., I'm gonna fucking hit like a zillion. I'm gonna hit a home run. I'm gonna finger gun the pitcher. I'm gonna be like, hey, motherfucker, around the base, like fucking whoop whooping it. I'm gonna get hit the next at bat. Thank you for the free on base percentage.
Well, Tim Anderson will like when he hits a big home run, he will do like he just like chucked his bat last year. He did like best bat flip.
Yeah,
I think he's the cover of the show this year.
That's hilarious.
I think so.
But like, I'm like, fuck it, dude. Might as well flip your bat every fucking chance you get.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch so many times where like players do something to show up the hitter or show up the batter or the pitcher that like no one cares about. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, they get on base and like a lot, like Marcell Ozuna always does like the stir the drink thing or something. Or I don't know exactly what he's doing, stirring the soup. The Cubs used to do that. Dexter Fowler used to do it.
Yeah,
stirs the drink or whatever.
Well, it's like always like they all have their own thing. Like, somebody got on base today. Like, the dude that played for I can't think of his name. Starts with an M. Used to play for the Astros. Plays for the Cubs. Plays for the Cubs now.
Marisnik?
Yeah, Marisnik. He got on base and he was like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're doing it all the time.
Baseball is fun. It's the most fun sport there is, and it's full of a bunch of goofballs.
Yeah.
And oddities, and that's what's great about it.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I know I sent it to you, but, like, there's a pitcher for the Cubs. I watched a ton of Cubs games because I'm always a Cubs fan. But, like, there's a pitcher for the Cubs that looks like he's fucking straight out of the 70s with a porn stash and everything, like... That's a personality. Like, Brian Wilson. Dude, those closers who would used to come in, fucking, like, Trevor Hoffman. Fucking, yeah. I mean, like, even Mariano Rivera came in to enter Sandman. Like, I mean, like, they all have their, like, own, like, quirks and, like, things. It's like,
they're almost like a wrestler.
Yeah, that's what baseball is at its best, right? They have walk-up music. That's, like, usually something stupid or crazy or, like, whatever. And you got the boring guys. I think this guy goes to my point where people are like, and I've made the point on, but like Mike Trout could probably walk into like a Subway, convenience store, a Walmart in most towns and not get recognized.
And he's so freaking good at baseball.
He's so good at baseball.
I think he's hitting almost 400 or over 400 right behind your man.
He's like second all time, I think, per 162 games in wins above replacement, only behind Babe Ruth.
Do you know how to calculate that?
Not a fucking clue. It sounds like it should be easy, right? You're like, but also then it's weird too because you're like, okay, well, how do you calculate Cal Ripken's wins above replacement?
Right, he was never replaced.
Like, you're like, who the fuck knows, right? You're like, that makes no sense. I should look into that. I should look into that. But it's crazy too. So like in doing this no hitter thing, right? I was like checking out these stories, right? These cool stories of like the guy who threw the first time having multiple no hitters. His name was fucking. I wrote it down today.
95.9 is Cal Ripken Jr.'s WAR.
95.9.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's pretty good. So this dude's name's Larry. I'm assuming Corcoran. Corcoran. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Coran.
Corcoran. So it's Corcoran.
There was a shitload of them.
Larry is his name.
Corcoran.
Yeah, Corcoran.
There's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah,
7,
I
8,
know.
9, 10. How?
That's what I was saying too.
They've been all from the same family.
Nope, not because I tried to see if that was an interesting thing because that's one of the facts that I thought would be interesting. But yeah, this dude, he threw 3 no-hitters, right? Was the first one to throw 2 no-hitters, and he's also the only pitcher to throw 3 no-hitters not in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And the reason he's not in the Hall of Fame supposedly is because he didn't play 10 years because he only played 8 years.
Yeah, and the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of his career, he won over 30 games.
Yeah,
it's wild. It's a wild stat line.
Dude, the crazy thing is legitimately, I found this article. 1 year, I think his first year. So he threw a no-hitter in his first year.
When he went 43-14?
Yeah, when he went 43-14. He's pitched 560 innings. Like something absurd.
536 innings.
Yes. So, yeah, nuts, right? So, it's crazy. And so...
and he had 268 strikeouts that year?
Yeah, so it's 4.5.
Strike out 300 or Garrett Cole.
Yeah, but I mean... But here's the crazy part, right? There's 2 crazy parts to it. First off, the first year, his ERA was 29% lower than anyone else in the league.
29% lower than anyone else?
Than the next closest person. The second year, his ERA was 44% lower. That's fucking wild, right?
Is this what they call the dead ball era?
I have no fucking clue. But check this out.
Era?
But check this out. What makes all of this more impressive is that Larry was 5'3", 127 pounds.
Holy shit. He once alternated arms during at least one game.
Dude, how's this dude not in the Hall of Fame?
You know why he only played 8 years in the pros?
Yeah,
because he
dude.
died when he was 32 years old.
Do you know why he died, though?
Probably syphilis or chlamydia or something cool back then.
He died from Bright's disease, but he was an alcoholic. He became an alcoholic. So check this out. This is fucked up. He hurt his arm, right? The dude who died, because he played for one of the Chicago teams.
This guy?
Yeah, he played for Chicago. Yeah, so he played with before they were the Cubs. But he played for the Chicago team. The dude who was the GM died after the second year or something like that. And basically, this dude took over, right? And was dude, at one point, this dude literally, I think it was 2 seasons later, maybe, he hired a private investigator to follow the team for weeks because he thought that the players should abstain from drinking and abstain from everything. And these dudes were winning pennants. They won 7 pennants in a row. They were rock stars.
That's crazy.
So the crazy part is, though, check this out. So then the dude finally, he gets hurt and whatever, they have some issue. Dude cuts him. The GM cuts him. January 1. Dude shows up for the entire month of June 1. The entire month of June, he shows up to work, right? This dude shows up to work. Then he doesn't get paid for June. And he's like, hey, you didn't pay me for June. And the dude was like, yeah, I cut you June 1st. Now, check this out. Do you know who that dude is? His last name's Spalding, and he's that Spalding. Dude, that dude's story is wild, though.
I bet there's so many cool stories. I found there was one guy on TikTok. I might have sent it to you the one night. And Taylor had sent it to me. I gotta find him. So Larry is actually the brother of Mike Cochran or whatever.
Okay.
Cochran. It's because at the bottom of Bleacher or Baseball Reference, it'll show you relatives.
Because the reason why I was I knew there was a lot was because there was a catcher 10 no hitters later with the same last name, and I was like, man, they might be the first relatives to catch and pitch one, but they weren't related.
Well, I've never heard that last name before in my life, so I can't imagine that is a very common last name.
No, that's what I was thinking too, but I don't even know how to pronounce it. That's how little I've heard it.
I need to learn more about the history of baseball back then. How hard was this dude throwing at 5'3", 127 pounds and nobody was touching him?
I don't know, dude, but he was smoking everybody else.
Is 80 hard back then?
Probably. Dude, he couldn't have been throwing crazy gas. He threw 5 zillion innings in a season.
Yeah. 5'3", 127. I know little guys can throw hard. That's not I wouldn't be. That's not that out of the ordinary. I want to know what all.
Also, I'm sure, I don't know if back then they had radar guns.
No, they didn't, because I think it was oh gosh, who did they say could throw 110 miles an hour or something? It was one of the Negro League pitchers. And he came.
Satchel Paige.
Satchel Paige, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I can't imagine. I don't know. It would be interesting how.
Have you ever been to Cooperstown?
What? No, I haven't. I need to though. By the way, yeah. Did you? Is this Switch Pitching blog the one where you saw they switched?
No, it's on the baseball references.
So there's actually a switchpitching.blogspot.com. I just gave you a free shout out. Ambidextrous pitcher. So he did switch at one point. So he's technically lefty.
People are on that list.
Let's claim
because people are freaking out right now because there's a dude at Florida doing it, or dude in Florida, or a high school kid in Florida doing it. But Pat Benedetti did it a decade ago.
This is the Yankees guy, right?
Yeah, he played at Creighton, and then I think he got drafted by the Yankees, and I think he's floated around. He still might be floating around somewhere.
Okay, dude. So this is that is tight. Yeah, dude. That dude was actually really good. I legit thought he was gonna make it. Ambidextrous pitcher. So this dude.
He played 3 games last year.
Oh shit! Did he? In the pros?
Mm-hmm.
Did he switch during the game?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Vendetti typically throws with the hand needed to gain the platoon advantage.
By the way, also, I don't know that that's always always real. I know it's a thing, right. But I've always felt really comfortable because the theory is opposite, right? Lefties are better against righties.
No, lefties should be lefty. I'm thinking about it from the pitcher side. Lefties should have better success against left-handed batters.
That's what. Yeah, that's what I meant. But I always pitched better against righties.
As a kid, and I remember in Little League, it was a bitch to pitch to lefties. And then as I got older, I had a good curveball, so that was my favorite thing to throw because I would just start it at them.
I threw a good slider. My slider was.
I didn't throw hard enough to throw a slider. So my curveball was good though, and I could aim it right at them.
Do you have to throw hard to throw a slider? I guess I've never really correlated that.
I feel like it moves better if it was hard. I don't know.
Nah, probably that makes sense. What were your pitches? My pitches were so I threw a 4-seam fastball. I threw a slider. I threw a changeup. It became a circle change, but I started with a Vulcan change.
I threw a 4-seam or 2-seam. I would kind of just mix it up. I think it mostly. I think I primarily threw it was almost like a 1-seam. I just stayed on and it would tail off.
Oh, got you. And I threw this one pitch that where I threw all 4 fingers because I have really long fingers, and I just whip it down, and it would rise almost. Huh. It was very weird. I never told my coach though. Sometimes he'd call in a fastball, and I'd just throw that.
I had a curveball, changeup, and a splitter. Circle change, and then a splitter.
Yeah.
The splitter was more of a forkball, though, but we called it a splitter. Because it was I was on the equator of the ball.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, that was fun.
Dude.
I was when the pitched last Labor Day, I was still able to throw it.
Dude, I used to have... My dad throws a mean fucking knuckleball. That bitch stops. So much so that if I go back home, I think I'm going back in July. I think if I literally grabbed a baseball and a glove and told my dad to throw me a knuckleball, he could throw me a perfect knuckleball. Like my dad could pitch in the major leagues today. like, like it's crazy. You just throw knuckleballs. But yeah. So this Cochran.
Yeah, we get our warehouse in Montana or something. We'll just throw knuckleballs to each other every day until we get it perfected.
Dude, knuckleball is the craziest pitch though. It's like super weird. But yeah, so this dude is 5'3", 127 pounds. He batted left-handed. He threw both-handed. Primarily pitched right-handed though, because he also played infield. He was a pitcher and an infielder.
Okay.
Okay. This is how wild back in the day was. Doesn't tell me how fast he threw, but the teams he played for were the White Stockings, Chicago. He played for the Nationals, the Giants, and he played for the Indianapolis Hoosiers.
I saw that on there.
In your neck of the woods.
It existed.
He didn't wear a glove. He pitched barehanded.
Did they have gloves back then?
I don't fucking know, Jems.
I assume the catcher had them.
Got to, right? That's wild, though. So I don't know how hard he was throwing if he wasn't playing. But he pitched 3 no-hitters. This was interesting, though. It's kind of crazy. Larry is credited with being... This should put him in the Hall of Fame alone, I think, maybe, if I'm reading this right. Larry is credited with being the first pitcher to work out a set of signals with his catcher. Cochran would shift his tobacco chaw when he wanted to throw a curve.
Smart.
That's fucking... How is he not in the Hall of Fame for that alone?
Right. Well, you know who was the first person to wear a batting glove in a baseball game?
No.
Former White Sox announcer Hawk Harrelson.
Oh, shit. Didn't realize that.
I don't know if that's an officially credited, but I guess he been golfing a bunch before, during off days or whatever.
I realized that gave him grips.
Yep. Hands were bothering him or something, so he put batting gloves on.
That makes sense.
I think Ken Burns has a documentary about baseball. I'm wondering how deep it goes.
I don't know, but I like that kind of shit. I know maybe we're nerdy because we're baseball kids, but that kind of stuff right there, I'm like, that alone, that one player that I'm assuming before I brought his name up, you hadn't heard of him, and before I was looking into no-hitters today, had no clue who the hell he was.
Right.
Was super fascinating. That one dude.
Yeah, I've been just scrolling through my baseball Twitter account and then my R Off the Rails account. I follow a shit ton of baseball Twitters.
I do too.
If I could just talk baseball all day, I think I would be fine with it. I would be a happy camper. Yeah,
too bad you're a White Sox fan and from the 108 guys already got that covered. But
yeah,
we should just adopt a team that's dog shit awful that has no fans and just become their 108.
That's funny. There is a Pinwheels and Ivy podcast, which is kind of a neat idea. It's a Cubs and Sox podcast. Yeah,
it's weird because I'm a Tigers fan. I'm a diehard Tigers fan, but since I don't know what it is, but with Colorado time, it seems like the Tigers play too early for me to catch the games. They play at 3:00 here for some reason. A lot of times, and I'm I'll be turning on. I'm like, oh, game's over. Okay. So watch, and then the Cubs have been good recently, so they obviously play a lot of Cubs on TV. But we have the package, so we watch a shit ton of Cubs games. We named our kid after a Cub, but so I could probably know more currently about the current rosters of the Cubs than I do about the current rosters of the Tigers.
If the White Sox aren't on, I'll watch the Cubs, and I listen to Chicago sports radio all day, or not all day, but when I'm not working. So I know those would be the two teams I know quite a bit about. I don't read as much about the Cubs, but
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, that's the thing about baseball. You have to kind of know who's coming up as far as behind, because baseball they'll make moves and you're like, why are you getting rid of that dude? And then you're like, oh, the actual guy behind him is way better. It's coming up. Dude, I legit want to make a documentary on this Larry dude. I'm just gonna say, just be let's
start making a list of old timey baseball players that you could do documentary series on.
Dude, I just it fascinates me when somebody does something that all the other people associated with doing that are in the Hall of Fame. You're every other pitcher that's thrown 3 no-hitters is in the Hall of Fame. I know he only played 8 years, but there's an exemption. You can get an exemption because there was another guy who threw 2 no-hitters, or maybe he threw 3, and he's in the Hall of Fame, but he didn't play 10 years. But he died of like some kind of like liver cancer or some shit.
I'm trying to find.
But then that's the other problem when we talk about baseball shit, and you talk about the screwed upness of baseball. You're like, Barry Bonds, Pete Rose, Roger Clemens, not in the Hall of Fame. Should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I would agree at this point they should be in. Like, it was essentially allowed. So
I mean, yeah.
Similar pitchers to Larry.
We got to figure out if we're doing a documentary on this dude. We got to figure out how to say his name.
Larry Corcoran, born in Brooklyn, New York in 1859, and died in Newark, New Jersey in 1891. His similar pitchers to him. So stop me when you know somebody.
Okay.
Sam Lever, Deacon Felipe.
Heard that name.
John Ward.
I've heard that name too. John Ward John Montgomery Ward?
It just says John Ward, and he was born in 1860.
I think that's John Montgomery Ward, and I have heard of him, yes.
And Deacon Felipe was born in 1872.
I love how you have your phone up and it's baseball.
Yeah, and I have a baseball screensaver too, or a phone charger, phone case. Yeah. So I'll just skip a couple of these. There's Ed Rollbeck, Ed Morris, Dave Fouts, Dizzy Dean.
Dizzy Dean, heard of Dizzy Dean?
Famer. Clayton Kershaw.
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Most similar by ages. His age 20 season, the most similar is Dwight Gooden.
Heard of him. I mean, and if you know his 20-year-old season, that's pretty
21,
electric.
22, and 23 is a guy named Kid Nichols.
Never heard of that guy, but
John Ward, Bob Carruthers, John Clarkson, Charles Bender.
I mean, dude, the shit he did was wild. And really, the crazy thing is, dude only really played 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at his like year-by-year stats, he pitched 536 innings, 396 innings, 355 innings, 473 innings, 516 innings. And then he pitched 84 innings, and then he pitched 14 and 15 the next years. So basically, he only played 5 years, threw 3 no-hitters.
If he didn't get sick or whatever happened to him,
Drink himself to death?
he would probably be similar to this Kid Nichols, who had played for 15 years from 1890 to 1906, won 362 games, lost 208.
I mean, I think that's fair.
His career ERA was 2.96.
Dude, I mean, it just seems like a really interesting. It seems like a very interesting story that doesn't get told. Like, unless somebody goes and tells it. Like, I think that's a story worth telling. That dude had like ridiculous stat lines. Even by the times, like, I mean, like, you could say, okay, whatever, he was 5'3" and would never play baseball now. A 5'3", 126, 7-pound guy is definitely not pitching, for sure. I wonder what the shortest pitcher in the game right now is.
I don't know. Is Mike Hampton still floating around?
By the way, Mike Hampton could hit the ball.
Yes.
Mike Hampton was like the definition of chicks dig the long ball. Dude, I just like, it's so wild though. Wild. Yeah.
So Baseball Reference will highlight in bold if that was the league leader that year.
Yeah.
So when Larry won 43 games, it is not highlighted. Somebody won more than 43 games in 1880.
Yeah, but it was probably like fucking somebody famous.
Are there famous players from 1880?
I don't know, probably. Larry Corcoran. Probably, I mean, it has to be, like, right? So where's my Baseball Reference on here? Oh, there it is. So, yeah, I mean, it is highlighted. So he did, the year he won 31, the next year was the top. But, yeah, I mean, who the fuck's winning 43 games? That's a wild amount to win.
It's winning every 4th game of the entire season.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What was his record that year?
43 and 14.
Okay, so in how many games did he pitch? He pitched in 63 games, so he pitched in more than a third of the games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild, dude. I mean, yeah. He won 175 games in 6 seasons with the Cubs.
Pretty good.
It's pretty damn good, man. That's wild. I mean, just to be like that, like, and I mean, he struck out 1,086 people in that span. So
I want to know how hard he threw, what he threw.
I know, dude. I'm like, that's why I started looking as I was like 1880 league leaders. Someone's gonna happen. By the way, anything that's like been around that long is wild. Just gonna say. Like the craziness. That's why, like, when people are like, baseball's a dying sport. It does hurt my heart because I'm like, dude, it's been around so long, and they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. First off, they shot themselves in the foot by not allowing, for the longest time, for you to basically like even tweet like a highlight. Like they would like come after you. Now it's like they kind of let it happen, but it's like, yeah, I don't know, it sucks. It's just like, you're like, man, like, it's been around for so long, so many generations played, that you're like,
and I don't know if I'm in the majority or the minority on, I hate 7-inning doubleheaders.
By the way, bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
The players probably like it. I don't know.
Well, you know someone who doesn't like it.
Tanner?
Well, Tanner doesn't like it for sure.
Madison Bumgarner?
Madison Bumgarner definitely doesn't like it. I'm going to guess. But
I don't like that. I don't like the runner on second and extra innings. I just want normal, straight-up baseball. I could give 2 fucks what they do with the DH. It doesn't bother me either way.
The DH thing didn't kill me. By the way, he was second in the league that year. Someone had 45 wins for Cleveland. But, yeah. Still, that's crazy. Yeah, it's just wild because you're like, I don't know. The 7-inning games, I get them. I get why they're doing it. I don't like how do you feel about the overtime or extra inning runner on second base?
I hate it. I always hated it when I played when we do that, and I hate it now.
I just don't understand it. Like, I'm like, make them get on base. What are you afraid? The game's going to go longer? No one who's sitting in the stands in the top of the 10th inning gives a fuck how long that game goes.
It's free baseball.
Like no one cares.
I love a good 18-inning game. I don't know why, but I do.
Yeah. It's crazy. Fuck yeah.
They have to get so creative and stuff by the end of it.
By the way, we have lights now.
Yeah.
So the game can go forever.
Wrigley finally got lights in the 80s, and now everybody's lit up.
By the way, random fact, also from the podcast, the Swiss Army Man podcast, Johnny Vandermeer, who was the first player to throw back-to-back no-hitters, only player to throw back-to-back no-hitters. The second game that he threw the no-hitter, the back end of it, was the first night game at Ebbets Field.
Huh.
Yeah, so speaking of lights. So I got the pitching stats pulled up from 1880, the league leaders. So wins above replacement, Cochran was 4th that year. Then you got for pitchers. Oh, that was all, by the way. He was 3rd for pitchers. Earned run average, he was 6th that year. So it must have been something else that he was super high on, that he beat everybody else out by a mile. Wins, he was 2nd place. Win-loss percentage, he was 2nd. Walks and hits per inning, he was 4th. So WAR, I guess, technically, right?
What was it?
Walks and hits per inning. Not as WAR, WHIP. Sorry.
Walks, hits, inning pitched. Yep.
Hits per 9, he was 2nd. Base on balls, he was not on that list, so he must have been throwing a little bit more of those. Strikeouts per 9. Okay, so this is where this might be the one. So strikeouts per 9 innings, right? Number 10 on the list, it was 2.5 strikeouts per 9. So 2 strikeouts per 9 innings, 2.5.
Are they just playing number?
Second place was 3.8 and then he was 4.5.
So he struck out 4 to 5 people a game.
Yeah.
And he was throwing complete games, which I assume were 9 innings back then.
Back then, there was only complete games.
Yeah.
So, they were like, your arm fell off, keep pitching. No.
I feel like they were just playing Pepper.
I mean, probably. But, I mean...
I'd love to go back and watch one of these games.
And he must have thrown heat, though. I mean, how would he have thrown 2 more per 9 than the guy in 10th place? And the guy in 9th place, because the guy in 9th place was barely over 2.5.
Okay, so there were probably... I don't know how many teams there were professionally at that point in time.
By the way, the Chicago Cubs must have been electric in 1880, because the guy who's in 2nd place was also in the Cubs.
So each team probably had, 2 or 3 starting pitchers? 3?
I mean, if you're pitching 70 games, yeah, you probably 2.5.
They probably played less games than 2, didn't they?
Yeah.
Let's say there were 2 starting pitchers on a team then. So
Basically.
there's only 30 pitchers in the league. So
yeah, I mean, I guess so.
If I was born in the 1800s, I definitely would have been a professional athlete.
Yeah, no shit. Could you imagine? Okay, if I threw 91. I topped out at 93. I threw 91 miles an hour, regularly. 89 to 91, on the rig. I guarantee you, I'd probably lead the league in 1880 and fucking strikeout.
You probably would have got stoned, though, by the end of it, because they would have thought you were a witch or something with your arm doing what it was doing.
Oh, that's probably true.
Why did all the tendons come off your arm?
By the way, I was built to pitch 90 games a season. And back then, they weren't lifting weights. I should have been an 1880 baseball player.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
My arm was never sore in high school. I mean, it would get sore, after pitching a little bit, but nothing crazy. Until college, when we actually did maintenance on it. Maybe I had the same thing.
That made you soft, dog. Are you flexible?
My fingers are really flexible. I'm a good husband.
What does that mean?
No, I don't know.
Oh, what are we talking about, Jems? By the way, anyone who's just tuning in after 42 minutes of baseball talk and just got that reference that Jems made, know that Jems' wife is our biggest fan, and at about 42 minutes, she's going to be like...
I don't know if she'll make it to 42 minutes if it's all sports talk before that.
I don't know. That's very interesting sports talk, though. By the way, also, if you missed it, I think 2 episodes ago, we also found out Jems had a mullet and conceived a baby. That was the magic. So
that was a fun fact.
That was a fun fact.
We need to release a line of Snapple type drinks where we put little facts about the podcast.
We should off the rails energy drinks just with fucking twist offs.
Yeah. A
just what would we're gonna go off the rails. But by the way, also they did have saves back in the day because Cochran was 2nd in the league in saves that year.
So how many?
2.
Oh.
The first place was 3.
So that's probably the starting pitcher got hit with a line drive or something and got hurt, and they had to pull him out of the game.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying. He did pitch the 5th most innings that year. That 536 was 5th most.
That's pretty weak. What a pussy.
Especially when you look at the top guy. This McCormick dude, 657 innings.
657 innings pitched. So he pitched in started 70 games.
Dude.
No, more than that.
Yeah, no, he started 74 games. It's right here. He led the league in games started 74 games.
Wow.
That's wild. But he still only had the 2nd most strikeouts to our boy Cochran. You know what I'm saying? Corcoran, whatever the fuck his name is. By the way, also not the dead ball era, because the most home runs given up was 9 by a pitcher that year, which is a decent amount. So not quite the dead ball era.
They must have figured out how to make better bats or balls or something 30 years later when Babe Ruth was smashing 50 in 1910.
Also,
15, 20.
Why do we not talk about Babe Ruth enough? I know everyone's oh, he's a fat motherfucker, blah blah blah, whatever. That dude fucking pitched and played the field and was great at both.
They were talking. I seen a lot of talk about Babe Ruth on Twitter today and Facebook, but that was strictly because Shohei Ohtani at that point was leading the league in home runs.
Yeah.
As-
Babe Ruth is like the only comparison.
Yeah.
But like Babe Ruth was like legit nuts. By the way, also Babe Ruth has a no-hitter.
Does he?
I don't know if it actually counts, but it's a combined no-hitter, and it's the funniest shit ever. Tell me how pissed off you'd be if you were the second guy, and how hilarious it would be if you were Babe Ruth. Okay, Babe Ruth starts the game.
Okay.
First batter, he walks.
Oh, he punched the umpire, right?
Smokes the umpire. Gets tossed, and then the dude who comes in throws. Check this out, though. Throws a pitch. The dude who got walked tries to steal, gets thrown out.
Okay.
So this dude only faces 27 batters in the entire game. That was the only person who reached. He basically threw a perfect game.
Well,
after Babe Ruth smoked a dude.
Wouldn't he technically have only faced 26 batters then?
He only faced 26, but there was only 27 in the whole game.
Oh, that's wild. That's such a funny story.
That's wild, right?
You know how much trouble somebody would be in nowadays if they went and punched.
Oh my god, dude! You'd be dude. Babe Ruth be done.
Yeah.
Cancel culture. How many? By the way, a lot of dudes. How many of those dudes? Ty Cobb punched, I think, like a disabled person in the stands one time. So
I heard that was a myth that he wasn't as mean as everybody said.
I don't know.
But it's gotta suck to throw a no hitter and face the minimum. Like Mark Burley, his first no hitter, I think he walked Sammy Sosa and then picked him off.
Oh shit, yeah.
And that was it. He threw a perfect game later, but
yeah, Mark Burley, underrated guy. We talk about Mark Burley way too much on this podcast, though. But
yeah. No, not.
We're like we're the number one Mark Burley podcast in America for sure.
So.
But no, yeah. That's the crazy thing. You get these crazy things about baseball that you don't get in many other sports. I'm sure football is probably closest just because of the number of people that you have like crazy stories. But like baseball has some nuts stories, and I think part of it is like unless you get a guy who's like the one that comes to mind is Kurt Warner, right? Kurt Warner was stocking shelves at a fucking grocery store, and blah blah blah. Like these dudes were like doing that baseball wise. I mean, they were like you play in the minor leagues to get up there for like at least a couple years usually. So you're not making a ton of money.
Do you know? I don't know if this is off the track or on topic, but it just caught my eye.
The name of our podcast is off the rails, so
right,
it fits.
What number professional baseball player do you think Larry Corcoran was? Like in the history of baseball, how many professional baseball players came before him?
How many professionals became before him?
How many major league baseball players?
Well, I'm gonna guess because he's through I think the fourth accepted no hitter that we're going by accepted stats. It's probably 39.
451st in Major League history.
Okay. So how many teams were there back then?
That's a good question.
Because now there's 400 every year.
Oh, I see a name that I recognize in the Cubs roster in 1880.
Hey. Yeah. Heck yeah, man. Dude, but
they had 3 pitchers on there. They had a 13-player roster.
13-player roster? Dude, these dudes are playing Iron Man, too. That's the crazy part, dude. They were playing Iron Man. They were just double switching constantly. Probably not, because pitchers were going baseball was softball.
It could have been. You know what? This wasn't even Cubs. I clicked on it and it said Chicago White Stockings.
Yeah, there's Chicago White Stockings, but they think they're the Cubs, which threw me off because
flip-flopped, I think, didn't they?
I don't know, because I was looking at it and I was like, oh, it's got to be I was like, Jems will be proud because this guy's a fucking White Sox and he wasn't. He was a Cub.
Right.
How does it feel to be a fan of a team that just had a team named after them already, but then just stole their name? It's messed up.
I wonder what I need to figure out the history of that.
Dude, so in case you guys are wondering, like, imagine listening back to episode 26 of Off the Rails in 5 years, 6 years, we'll be generous, when Tone and Jems are on stage picking up their best documentary Emmy. You're going to be like,
I think you can win an Oscar for that.
Can we win an Oscar? Fuck, let's go.
Sure. I thought I looked through. I rarely will watch the Oscars, but I usually will flip through like the next day and I'll like Google it and see what like who won. Dude. And I'm pretty sure there's the best documentary on there.
I'm trying to think who plays Larry Corcoran in our if we make a movie about it. Who's 5'3"? What?
Joe Pesci?
We're gonna get Tom Cruise.
Yeah. My buddy
Sylvester
Dennis is a
Stallone?
little guy.
What?
I said my buddy Dennis is a little guy. He listens.
Good.
I had to make sure I said.
Hey, let's get Dennis then.
Yeah.
Let's go.
By
the way, it would probably do really good. Oh, dude, you know what though? It's been a hot minute since a good baseball movie's been made.
Yeah, what would be the last one? Benchwarmers?
Maybe. It might be it. We got what was the good For the Love of the Game might be the last
like actual
good movie. Like that had a decent amount of baseball in it.
Right. What year did that come out?
From 95. I don't know. Still.
Is that before Field of Dreams?
Yeah. No, it was after Field of Dreams.
Okay.
For sure.
I don't know. The early 90s were pretty solid for baseball movies. Like kids' baseball movies, too, because there was like Sandlot, Little Big League, Rookie of the Year.
For the Love of the Game was 1999, by the way.
99? That is relatively recent.
Well, I mean, 22 years. I mean.
Well, fuck.
I mean.
Old.
Not really.
What's the name of the movie with Keanu Reeves? That was a good one. Can't think of it.
The Replacements?
No, it's a baseball movie.
Oh, Hardball?
Yeah. That was a pretty good one.
I mean, I guess I wasn't thinking of that one, but that had to be pretty close to that time, too. 2001.
What's that? There's the movie with Clint Eastwood, and then there's Moneyball.
Oh, Moneyball was pretty good.
Yeah. What was the name of the one? Trouble with the Curve. I haven't seen that.
Oh, with Justin Timberlake in it?
Is it Justin Timberlake? I know Clint Eastwood's in it.
I think it's Justin Timberlake and not the lady who's Sacha Baron Cohen's wife. They look exactly the same.
Is he married to Amy Adams?
Yes. No, he's not married to Amy Adams. You just proved my point. He's married to the lady who is the psychopath in fucking Wedding Crashers. And that's not Amy Adams.
Okay, so Trouble
Isla
with the
Fisher
Curve has Amy Adams in it.
Yes. Fisher. Isla Fisher's the one Sacha Baron Cohen's married to.
Nice.
And they're the same.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I always get those two mixed up.
And there's Kate Mara kind of looks like him too.
Oh, by the way, do you know Kate Mara's backstory?
Her dad owns the Giants.
Yeah. By the way, do you know who her mom is?
Not offhand.
Just look it up. Just Wikipedia her. And you're gonna know her sister too, who's an actress who goes by their mom's last name.
Is her mom? Is she related to Mickey Rooney? Because it says Kate Rooney Mara.
Mm-hmm. What sports team did the Rooneys own?
The Steelers, right? Kate
Dude.
Mara, Kathleen McNulty Rooney. So her mom is. I'm digging.
Her mom is I believe, the sister of the brothers who now own the Steelers. Or I guess she maybe owns the Steelers too. I don't know.
Her parents are Timothy Christopher Mara, an NFL scout and vice president of the Giants. I thought he owned them. I guess not. I had the wrong team. I was close to it.
No, they do own the Morrows. Do own it.
Okay, do they?
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah, I went down that rabbit hole. Like I don't.
She's
Can't
great
remember.
granddaughter of both New York Giants founder Tim Mara and Pittsburgh Steelers founder Art Rooney.
And her sister is an actress too. She played the girl with the dragon tattoo. She was the girl with the dragon tattoo.
That's crazy.
the shit you
Some people
don't.
have it made.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, how the fuck does that
And
work?
she's in one of the best movies ever in Shooter.
Yeah. Also, why is it not talked about more that the fucking founder of the Giants and the founder of the Steelers let their kids people get married?
Different
Like,
mood.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Isn't that kind of like, I don't know, cross contamination or some shit? That was the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
Martha Ford Firestone or Firestone Ford is kind of a wild thing too. We talked about this before.
We did talk about that before. We did talk about that before.
Married somebody.
The Stan Kroenke, the
Okay.
owner for the Rams owner, is married to one of the Walmart heiresses.
Like, are those arranged marriages? Do you think at a certain point?
No, because remember we looked it up, and Stan Kroenke met her at a ski resort.
Well,
Because we said it had to be an arranged marriage, but it wasn't.
well, we're coming full circle here in episode 26.
But here's the thing, though, right? I would assume that if you're in that position, the network of friends you run in or people you run in probably are a little bit elevated.
Right. That makes like a Hallmark movie where the billionaire marries like somebody working at the steel mill.
So I'm going to cut this up, and that's going to be the first thing you hear in this podcast is Jem saying it's like a Hallmark movie. So that way your wife listens.
There you go. Smart.
Oh, I'd hit my head on the wall. This podcast off the rails.
Yeah.
No,
We can make
Dude.
it a shorty and start winding down here.
dude. And Jems can attest. Before this podcast started, I said to him, "My brain is not working properly."
That is fact.
But I think it's made for good podcast though. I mean, legitimately, baseball. We both love baseball. We could just legit probably have a baseball podcast.
Right.
Which, who knows? As we get bigger, maybe we do. Maybe we make a second podcast. Maybe we bring somebody else in that loves baseball as much as we do.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, you know what we should do? Instead of a draft like we normally do, let's go back and forth. We each get 5 of baseball themed people that we would love to have on the show as guests.
Okay.
So, do you want me to go first?
I'm going to try to spread. Yeah, you can go first. So I'm trying to spread mine out. I know you tweeted this out recently that are not just like White Sox related, but like.
Yeah, I did do that, but that was just off the cuff kind of thing. I was just like, these people. But I interestingly enough, and it does fall in the barstool realm. I would like to have Jared Carrabis on.
That would be pretty cool.
Have you listened to his episode on the Token CEO podcast? Very interesting. He gets into like mental health and all that kind of stuff too. He just seems like a deeper dude than I thought he was.
Yeah.
And he's obviously a diehard baseball fan, so it'd be really
Right.
interesting to pick his brain on that.
So I talked about it on the episode with Beef Loaf, but like the best like announcer or the best color guy in all of Major League Baseball announcing is Steve Stone. He's got like such an incredible baseball knowledge about it. He's just awesome. I would love to talk to Steve Stone.
That'd be tight. Be pretty.
He won
awesome.
the 1980 AL Cy Young too.
Nice. I wonder who would be like. I mean, there's just so many good ones. I'd like to have, and I'm going to put it out there, and it was on my list, and it's kind of what started that list. I would love to have somebody like, I can't think of his name. You're killing me, Smalls. Why the fuck can't I think of his name?
Oh, you tweeted his name too, didn't you?
I did tweet his name, but I can't think of his name right now.
I just seen him in a commercial too, where he was putting on that shirt again.
He's making a hardcore comeback. He's got a TikTok. He did
He did one with Jack's Right Songs. Do you follow her?
Yeah.
She's good.
She's funny.
Yeah.
I want her on the podcast.
Yeah.
She's hilarious. She did like a '90s song about the '90s.
She does
It's
a
like
lot.
it's like an original though. It's like a full length song. It's pretty interesting.
I've only watched the TikToks. I know she has a YouTube too. I think she got signed.
Yeah, she did. I think that was her first song on that record label or something.
The Sandlot. You were talking about Patrick Renna.
That's right, Patrick Renna. Yeah, I would love to have him on. He'd be interesting. Just because he definitely is like he's definitely so ingrained in baseball culture. But also, my number one question would be like, how do you feel being the avatar of one of the greatest current basketball players of all time?
Who's he the avatar of?
He's him like pointing in that Sandlot movie. Has been Kevin Durant's avatar for like 7 years.
Really?
Yeah. It's wild.
So my next one would be Kevin Costner, who's been in like every baseball movie ever.
Legit. I mean, baseball movies. You can't do baseball movies without Kevin Costner.
Right.
I mean, it's nuts. Definitely Kevin Costner. You staring at the cat or the wall?
I thought I heard the door open, but I don't think it did.
My next one would be, damn, I don't know who. I definitely got to get some Rene Russo.
It's a shout out to Beef Loaf.
That's shout out to Beef Loaf. He was spot on with that though.
Yeah,
that was spot on.
This is going to be a combined one, but I want My Sock Summer and Teresa E. The other two of.
I like it. Got to complete the trifecta. You know what we should do?
After we get all of them individually, then we have them back for a full blown.
It's exactly
probably easier in the off season though. I think
definitely
we're lucky and caught Beef at a good time.
Yeah, for sure. I think we can. By the way, Beef's probably. Yeah, he's probably my favorite episode so far. That was a really fun episode. If you haven't listened to that episode and you've listened this far, you definitely should go listen to that.
Thank the booker.
Yep, Jems crushed it on that one. Jems always comes through with the good bookings. Like, damn, who else? Okay, so I got 2 left.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with an actual player then. I'd love to have Barry Bonds on.
Do you think he would talk, or do you think he would just kind of be like...
No, he definitely would.
You could ask him things and he wouldn't say shit.
I don't know, though. He does have some interesting, like, sound bites. So,
yeah.
I feel like he's one of those, like, you definitely got to catch him in an open moment. If he's open, I feel like you could get a lot out of him.
Yeah. For my player, not that we have guidelines here of what we're picking, Tim Anderson is, like, says whatever the hell he wants. And it's fantastic. He was on The Score, which is a Chicago radio station, and they were trying to get him to say that the Sox are the best team in the American League. Yeah. And it's like, we're going to be pretty good. And then the host, Danny Parkins, was like, come on, you know that like you're going to be better than that. And he goes, fuck it, we're the best team in the American League.
That's awesome. I love that. That's great. Yeah, that'd be an awesome interview. Tim Anderson, come on the show. My last one, I'm taking a player too. I'm gonna take Trevor Bauer because that dude seems like he will talk, and not that he won't talk or will talk, but it's more so he doesn't seem to have a filter, like in a good way.
Yeah,
and I think if people listen to him, the progression he could make in baseball would be amazing.
And going with Trevor Bauer, I would like to have his super agent, Rachel Luba.
Oh, sweet.
I think she represents or did Yasiel Puig too, but I'm not sure if she still does. I don't know. I think she does, but she does a podcast I think it's called Corked Up with Jessica Kleinschmidt, who's I think like an A's beat writer or something like that.
Have I not heard of this podcast? I'm definitely just gonna go get in that podcast.
So that would be pretty neat.
Check that out for sure. That's tight, yeah. I mean, we love baseball. What are we doing?
Yeah,
I love it. So Jems, I think we finish off with. We haven't had a solo podcast in a while.
We have
but
not.
last time we did, we put 3 songs each onto a podcast or onto a playlist that I'm going to actually make that are randomly played off of our shuffle on Spotify. So, do we want to knock these out real quick?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first?
You can go first. How many are we doing?
3.
Okay.
Just drop 3 in. All right, here we go. Let's see. First one on my shuffle. Let me turn the volume up. By the way, this is off of my playlist called Pod. I've been listening to more Spotify, and then as I like songs, I'm just adding them in. So
mine's from my playlist called Mix.
Okay. Here we go.
Watch this short video to get 30 minutes of.
Come on, Spotify, do better.
Spotify ad.
Killing me. So I got a Spotify ad. So, by the way, Spotify is so cheap. I should just buy a fucking membership. But I don't. And I don't
have one either.
All right, here we go. I got 10 seconds. Dude, yeah, I should have remembered to do this before, and then that way we were ready to go. But, all right, here we go. Ooh. Do you know the song?
I know. I don't know the name of it.
It's called California. It's by Phantom Planet. It was the theme song for the OC, California. I think.
Okay, Phantom Planet.
Mm-hmm.
So, how much time can you play a song without it?
I think it's 9 seconds.
Okay.
You are not someone else. Someone else is someone else. You are you. It is you. You are you. Slippery Ganesh.
It's Asher Roth.
Nice. I was like
YOU.
YOU. I like it. I love college. Asher Roth.
Yeah, same guy.
Same album. Listen to that song a lot while getting drunk.
Yeah, it came out my freshman year of college.
Yeah, so you definitely got drunk a lot.
Yeah.
I was just a grown-ass adult man in the wine business. So, but my buddy Jeremy was like my roommate. He like lived with me and my first wife, and then even before that, we had lived together. And we had a four fold out beer pong table, and it was like just specifically a beer pong table. It wasn't like a makeshift. It was like a legit beer pong table, like for that purpose. And so every time someone would come over and play that hadn't played on it, they like signed the table. So like the table is filled with like signatures and stuff. It was great. All right, here we go. Got the next one going. Getting ready to go. Let's see. Here we go.
Where is your boy tonight? I hope he is a gentleman. Maybe he won't find out what I know.
Fall Out Boy.
Okay.
Grand Theft Autumn. Where is your boy?
Sometimes all those bands like blend together with the sound, but I thought that was Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Trying to write a little more legibly.
More legibly.
Yeah.
That's a good one. It's like super recognizable.
Kid Cudi, Day and Night.
Day and Night. That's a great one. Oh, shit. Where is my thing just like decided it wanted to go back for some reason. Some stupid reason. Let's see what we got. Shuffle. Ooh. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
It's the honorary title, Stay Away. And I mentioned their lead singer in our last episode with Carter Halsey, because the first time I saw Carter Halsey was him opening up for that band. So
I don't remember who it is.
Oh, the honorary title. Sorry.
Oh, that's who. I thought you were. Okay.
The honorary title is the name of the band. Stay Away is the name of the song.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that is a little confusing, though.
I thought you were going to say in the honorary title that is.
I fuck. That sounds familiar. Why did I? Fuck. Who is that?
Hate. I really don't like you by Plain White Tees.
I knew it. I was like, that sounds like, ironically enough, one of your emo dudes. We both had one of our emo dudes because I had Fall Out Boy.
Yep.
Funny. We're emo leaning motherfuckers. We should just start an emo baseball podcast.
Mine. I had Asher Roth, Kid Cudi, and Plain White Tees.
Yeah, yours was definitely a little bit more diverse. Mine was like Phantom Planet, which I guess was like pop indie. Yeah, and then the last two were emo, so it makes sense. Yeah. Is what it is. You were muted there for whatever you were saying.
I was talking to the boss of the house.
Oh, nice. Ask her if she's going to listen to the first 45 minutes of this episode.
It's all baseball talk. She just shook her head. We're gonna cut it, and I said something about Hallmark movies, so he's gonna put that at the beginning to hook you in.
It's really good baseball talk, though.
It is pretty interesting. We talk about a guy from the 1880s,
He was 5'3".
Larry Corcoran. He's like Dennis pitching.
And that's our episode of Off the Rails. Jems, any final parting shots?
No, I don't think so. Look forward to our documentary on 1880s baseball players.
We should corner the market. We should hot corner the market. That's a baseball term. And we should make a documentary. We should make a live action movie of this dude's life. And then we should make a Hallmark movie made related about baseball players in the 1880s. I feel like that could do well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Got it.
because 1880s, they needed a second job. So he played baseball in the summer, Christmas tree farmer in the off season.
Yeah. Move up to a reindeer farm in Alaska and met Santa's daughter or something.
Crushed it.
I think I just ripped off a Hallmark movie already. But
Well, we have you consult the Hallmark expert.
well, actually, I think it's the other way around. I'm pretty sure, and the expert's right next to me. I'm pretty sure this doctor goes to like Alaska or something and falls in love with Santa's son. Is that right?
Who's the actress?
Is it Candace Cameron Bure?
Always Candace Cameron.
And I'm pretty sure this guy that played Santa is one of Bill Murray's brothers, like the one with the gravelly voice. No, the guy that played Santa.
No, his son.
I know, but I was talking about the guy that played. Do you remember the name of that movie? Could IMDb it?
There's not a. They all have like the most generic titles.
I want to say it's I don't know.
It's one of the more recent ones she had.
No, it's a few years old. It just plays a lot.
Yeah, but if I go to her IMDb, all the movies that are gonna pop up are.
They should all be Hallmark. I hope she's like producing these.
I would think. Is it Christmas Town?
No.
It's not Christmas Town.
I think Christmas Town's the one where she's a teacher and she
It is.
She moves.
Not a Shoe Addict's Christmas. Swiss for Christmas.
One with me.
I know I watched the Shoe Addict one.
So when we have your wife on the podcast one of these days,
Yeah.
as like our guest, we're gonna have a Hallmark movie draft.
I know a few, but not like.
It's Christmas Under Wraps. Is that it?
I don't know. Christmas Under.
I watched the Hanukkah one this last Christmas.
When a doctor doesn't get the position she wanted,
Boom.
She's an impressive woman.
That's a deep knowledge of Hallmark movies. I'm impressed.
Yep, it's Brian Doyle Murray plays Frank Holiday, which is Santa.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild. It's kind of nuts that she's I mean, it makes sense that she does Hallmark movies. Like her brother's like a super big like Christian movie guy now.
Yeah.
So.
Did not know that.
You didn't know that? Oh, yeah, that's right. You're young. Did you ever watch Growing Pains?
Oh, what's his name? Kirk
Cameron.
Yeah, that was her brother.
Yeah.
Never made the connection.
You were thrown off by the beret?
I just didn't think about it.
No, he's
I have to clean up. Get out of here.
he's way big. Oh, look at Jems being nice. By the way, about 45 minutes into the podcast, Jems makes an inappropriate fingers comment. And that's how we end the show. See you guys next time.